Hey, McLaughlin Superstars. This is Mr. Curtis in the fourth grade team, and we are excited to start today's lesson from 6-7, which applies to the last lesson that we did on Wednesday, which is multiplying fractions by a whole number, both a unit fraction like 1/5 or 1/3, or a non-unit fraction which does not have 1 in the numerator, such as 2/3 or 9/11ths or 76/100ths. And today we're going to also look at the real world or word problems and how to dissect the math from the word problems. So, as always, get your paper, your pencil ready, maybe a beverage in hand, and let's get to work. Notebook, paper ready? Here we go. So here we have, would you write down 15 times 3/10? Now I know I have a lot of graphics here, and I did that kind of on purpose, but I want to show you what that really looks like. Remember from Wednesday, when we have a whole number, let's say we have 15 of these 3/10, 15 of those. How many total do we have? Well, we can multiply. How do we multiply a whole number? Remember, we simply put any whole number over 1, and that makes it equivalent to a fraction that you can start to multiply or divide when you get there. And the beauty of multiplying fractions is you don't need a common denominator. Yahoo! So let's just multiply across. So what is 15 times 3? Okay, carry the 1. 45. Yeah, if you said and wrote 45, that's excellent. Yeah, there are 45 of these pieces. If you were to pause and count them, we don't need to do that. Just take my word for it. There are 45 of those tenth pieces, and they are grouped in 3/10, but there are 45 of them. And we do, yes, we do multiply the denominators, unlike adding. And 1 times 10 just tells us that we have tenths. So all of these pieces are in tenth form, and there are 45 of those tenth pieces. And so you can also see right here, I'll just kind of push that tab right there, showing us our answer. Yep, 45 tenths. And you can see, if you were to count, that there are 45. Now, if you wanted to go and divide 45 by 10, you could see that there's 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 whole, 4 whole, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could say also that there are 4 wholes and a half or 5/10 remaining. So that's kind of your review for today. Next slide. You'll find these problems in your slide work. So if you pay attention, you can just put these answers in. Number 20. The 5 members of the Sanchez family each drank 3/4 cups of juice for breakfast. How much juice did the family drink in all? Now, don't forget to put your unit fractions in your answer. But we have 5 members. We have mom, dad, grandpa, son, and daughter. That's 5. So if we were to multiply, if we were to multiply by 5, each of the 5 people in that home, in the Sanchez family, gets to have 3/4. So how can we change the 5 for mom, dad, grandpa, son, and daughter into a fraction? Do you remember? Yeah, we can just put it over 1. Boop. So now we have 5 over 1 multiplied by 3/4. And yes, we can multiply across. And when you do, you get 15/4. Let's count them just to make sure Mr. Curtis isn't fibbing here. 3, 4, 5, 6/4, 7, 8, 9/4, 10, 11, 12/4, 13, 14, and 15/4. Awesome. Now, if you are wanting to simplify that into a mixed number, go ahead and do that in the slide. Now, on this problem, what I did was I also, on the slide for today's work, you can actually move these pieces like I'm about to do now. So they're already on the slide page. And so that's how you can use a model for number 21. So let's go ahead and show you what I mean by that. Stella ran a half mile. We're going to let Stella, let's have her be represented by a half. Now, excuse me, Brian ran 7 times as far. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how far did he run? This would be how you would model it. All right. How far did he run? 7. He ran 7. So my whole number is 7. And it's by a half. So what's 7 times a half? Now, as always, we want to write the problem and we want to have the units. So you're going to type, I think it's miles. That would be a great unit. I'm not going to do that math for you here. I'm sure you probably know it just by looking at it. And if you do, awesome. But so I'm going to go to the next slide. So here are the 3 problems in the bottom. And I'll read them to you. And you're going to figure it out on your own using your notebook paper. Number 22, though, a banner has a length of 3 yards and a width of 2/3 of a yard. So the whole number in this case is 3 yards. 3. And how do we make that into a fraction? Correct. We just put it over 1. 3 over 1. And what is the fraction? Well, the 2/3. 2/3. And when you multiply across, and don't forget your units. In this case, since it's area, that's going to be in yards squared. Number 23, there are 12 members of a volleyball team. 12 members of a volleyball team. That's big. They had a pizza party. Each pizza was divided into 8 equal slices. And each player ate 3 of those 8th pieces. So what fraction of the pizza did the team eat all together? Again, 12 is the whole number. 12 players on the volleyball team. The fraction is, what did each player eat? They ate 3 out of 8. 3 slices out of 8. And when you multiply that, yes, you'll get a fraction, and you need to include your unit fraction of pizzas. Number 24, it took Eli's mother 1/6 of an hour to drive him to school, but it took Alex 4 times as long as this to walk to school. So we have a whole number in there somewhere. What's that whole number? Yeah, Alex's 4 times longer is going to be our whole number. And what's our fraction that it took Eli's mom to drive? Yeah, she took 1/6 of an hour. And when you multiply that, again, don't forget to put it in hours form. On the last slide of your work is some extra work, just 3 problems. We're excited to see your work, superstars, in the Google Slides. Make sure that if you have any questions, to send your teachers a message. And hopefully you are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We are almost done. We're so proud of how hard you've been working. So let's finish strong. Bye for now, superstars.